Hi guys, I'm gonna show you how to make fluffy chocolate chip cookies. Alright, so the first thing you need to do is get all your ingredients out. So I'll show you all the ingredients. Okay, we need semi-sweet chocolate chips, eggs, salt, butter, sugar, flour, baking soda, brown sugar, a small bowl, and then a bigger bowl. And all the ingredients are also listed on the back of this. But for my recipe, I changed it. First thing you need to do is preheat your oven to 375. So I already started that. And then as the oven's preheating, we'll start getting the ingredients ready. Okay, so on the packaging, it says, in a small bowl, combine flour, baking soda, and salt. So that's what we're gonna start with. Okay, so the packaging says 2 1/4 cup of flour. For my recipe, I add an extra full cup. So we're gonna do 3 cups of flour. Okay, so all the flour is now in this small bowl. And when I'm baking, I like to clean up as I go. So I'm gonna put away the flour now, because then it's less of a mess you have to worry about after. Now let's see what the packaging says. Now we have to add baking soda. So it calls for 1 teaspoon of baking soda. So we're gonna get our little teaspoons out and find 1 teaspoon right here. So then just take the baking soda. I'm sure everybody knows how to do this. For this stuff, I eyeball it a little bit better. There we go. I might have spilled a lot, but we'll have to clean that up after. Okay, now we need 1 teaspoon of salt. I was in fact using the salt to hold up my camera, but it's fine. So once we do this, that's all we need for. So I usually do less than a teaspoon because I think that it's a lot of salt, even though it's not. But they come out very salty a lot of times. So using less salt, just a little bit less salt. Okay, so now we need to add butter, granulated sugar, brown sugar, and vanilla extract to this big bowl. If you hear noise, it's the little robot vacuum guy. I don't know how to turn it off. So we have this butter. I let this butter sit out for probably about an hour, maybe a little bit more, just because it won't mix as if it's cold and hard. So add your 2 sticks of butter. Also, very important, make sure you wash your hands before you do this, because if you're going to be giving these to other people, which you guys are going to be having tomorrow, I did wash my hands, okay? So now once the butter's in, we're going to add the sugar. So this is my big thing of sugar. We need 3/4 cup. And once I do this, I'm going to start mixing on a pretty low setting at first, just to get it ready. So I'll show you that. Okay, now that it's plugged in, I start with it on 1 and just let this beat for a little bit. So okay, now we need 3/4 cup of brown sugar. So the brown sugar is now in. Now I'm going to mix this for a little bit more. I have it on the 2 setting if you're using a mixer like this. So I'm just going to do that for a little bit until it gets mixed in and then do the next step. Now it's time for vanilla extract. So this calls for 1 teaspoon. I do it over here in case I spill it, because I usually spill it. Now you put it in. And now on the instructions it says mix this until it's creamy. So I'm just going to let this mix for a little bit. On 2 again. Okay, so when you're baking, it oftentimes gets stuck. So I recommend having a spatula or a spoon just to bring everything back in the thing. And therefore, it'll be able to mix better. Okay, that was not the right wording, but it's fine. Now I have to add 2 eggs, but it says to do them at separate times and then mix it well in between. So I recommend doing this in a separate bowl, but I'm not gonna lie, I don't feel like doing any more dishes. So I'm just gonna do it right here and hope I don't get any shells in there. Well, as you can see, this is pretty mixed. So now I'm gonna go in and add the other egg. Not the best beautifulness. Mix this until it's completely one consistency. So now you're gonna wanna add this slowly. So we're gonna do, okay, I changed up the way I'm filming this, but I feel like this is easier and you can see it better. So add a little bit of this. Okay, so I added about 1/4 of the bowl. Now you're gonna mix it very low because the flour tends to get everywhere. Okay, so the flour is pretty mixed in. So now I'm gonna do the same thing again. Okay, added a good amount. And now, again, do the same thing. While that's going, also get out your cookie sheets. So here are mine. They're not very pretty, but they get the job done. Okay, for a final time, I added the rest of the flour. And now we're just gonna let that go. Now it's time to add the chocolate chips. So this recipe calls for 2 cups. I sometimes don't do that many, or I do more. So right now we're just gonna add the first cup in. Okay, so here are the chocolate chips. And now just start mixing again on very low speed because it's very thick. Okay, now that the batter is made, unplug the mixer. Now we're gonna start making the cookies. Okay, so what you're gonna do is just take with your hands, I use my hands, and take about this much, and then just literally just roll them into a ball. And then set them up to be like equally spaced. So for my trays, I would do 3 per the row. So I'll show you that. It's very simple. So there are my cookies in all their glory. So now I'm just gonna do this and fill up the trays. The first 2 trays are done. We still have a good amount left, so I think I'll be able to make another tray. But now just put them in the oven. Okay, now set a timer for 9 minutes and then they're done. Okay, so the cookies are done. So now we're gonna go and get them out and then lay them on the counter for at least 5 minutes because they cook more once you take them out. Okay, now we're gonna put the other ones in. And then since I cooked these ones on the bottom, I'm just gonna let them sit for another 2 minutes in the oven. Okay, so it's been 2 minutes. I'm gonna quickly grab these ones out of the oven. Okay, so these ones cool down. So now we're just gonna put them all onto a plate. Okay, the other cookies are done. Take them out of the oven and let them cool for like 10 minutes. The cookies are done. And now you can eat them. What do they look like? They're very like gooey and good, so yeah.